Hi, I'm Rick Tibbetts. Welcome to Unlimit Yourself. I'm glad you're here. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the 3 C's of success, those being confidence, consistency, and critical thinking. I formulated this idea when I was a student at Syracuse University sometime during my sophomore or junior year. After having gained exposure to a wide array of hardworking students and professors, and after critically analyzing my own work ethic and the results that sprang from that, I came to the conclusion that there are 3 primary traits that lead to great achievement. I truly believe that those who maximize each of these traits are bound for success in whatever field or discipline they choose to pursue. While exploring this idea, I'll be giving real-world examples of people who best illustrate confidence, consistency, or critical thinking. But before we begin, I feel it's necessary to issue a mini disclaimer. Though I'm speaking about success, I want to make clear that I do not hold the keys to it. The 3 C's to success are purely a manifestation of my own personal philosophy and are open for debate and criticism. With that, let's begin. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great start to your week. It is sunny, it is hot outside. Things are looking good out there, sky is blue, beautiful days ahead of us. I am very much a summer person, so I'm feeling energized, and I hope that you are too. And if not, I hope by the end of this episode, you are exactly where I am. Let's kick off this episode. First, I want to make clear that we're going to move into a different direction than the first 2 episodes of this series. In those 2 episodes, we talked about confident vulnerability and social media and constructive envy. Those topics are very important. They're deep, they're emotional, they talk about introspection and how you can use that emotional energy for good, for positive, for building yourself up to who you want to be. I think those things are incredibly useful. And there's a reason that I kicked off this series with those topics. I believe that those serve as the foundation for everything else to come. But now I want to focus on something more positive. I want to move in a more positive direction with this one, and that brings us to the 3 C's of success: confidence, consistency, and critical thinking. Let's begin with confidence. To achieve big goals, big dreams, you have to be willing to reveal to the world what you can do. You can't keep it closeted away. You can't keep it hidden underneath the mattress. You gotta bring it out. Put it under the spotlight. And that can be a very intimidating thing to do. And that is because of the reasons we've discussed in prior episodes. Peer pressure, fear of judgment, keeps people down. It keeps people from showing what they can do because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be critiqued. They fear the criticism. It's unfortunate, but this is the truth. People are uncomfortable seeing others stridently venturing to the top. Those who are doing their utmost to be successful and make a name for themselves. It can be a little uncomfortable for people who don't have that same ambition. And because of that, there is this inward pressure that pushes people to keep themselves limited. To say, oh, well, my friends, my community, the people who I know, they're not doing what I'm doing. They're not striving as far as I'm striving. Therefore, why should I go to such extreme lengths to be someone better, to make something incredible happen? Why should I go out on a limb and really put my neck out there when I could face such biting criticism? Well, it takes a strong person to overcome that, to know that people will talk about you, to know that people will snicker and judge and they'll say things that aren't so nice. And there are times when you will screw up and you will fail. And those who were snickering and insulting you and criticizing you in the background, they'll still be there. They'll feel validated. But if you keep at it, if you keep that confidence in your abilities and who you are and your potential, they won't be judging for long. You will have the last laugh if you maintain that confidence. And at the end of the day, heeding the words of small thinkers will lead to small results. You have to take risks. You have to block out to break through. Now here's a great example of someone who was confident in the face of criticism, someone who put their neck out there and because of that, reaped incredible reward. Barbara Corcoran, one of the sharks from the smash hit TV series Shark Tank. Her story is one that I think can inspire us all. When she was just starting out, she got a $1,000 loan from her first boyfriend to start a real estate business. Now at the time, everyone in real estate in New York and New Jersey was rich and powerful. These people exclusively men by the way, had a monopoly on that market, and very few tried to challenge them. But Barbara had the energy, the passion, and the confidence to do just that. With a focus on investing in people instead of property, she assembled a ragtag team of small-time real estate investors who didn't think they could compete with the rich guys, and steadily grew her business from 5 to 500 to 1,000. And all the while, the mega-rich men at the top never paid her any mind because she was a woman in real estate, and she couldn't possibly be a threat. They scoffed at her achievements instead of taking her seriously. And that would remain true until she became the rich men's #1 competitor, and they couldn't ignore her any longer. No longer were they laughing, no longer were they making jokes about Barbara Corcoran, because she was taking over the real estate business in New York and New Jersey, becoming a major player. That is just one example of countless where confidence will reap incredible reward. But I know what you're thinking. It's not all about confidence, Rick. Calm down, buddy. What if you're confident, but you try and try and try and you still don't reach your desired result? What then? Well, then comes the second pillar of the 3 C's of success: consistency. See, it's all good to confidently stake your claim and set out to achieve a dream, but can you stick with it? Do you have the ambition, the motivation to keep at it in the face of hardship, failure, rejection? Unfortunately, what I see all the time are people who have these high-minded ideas, who have this admirable vision for themselves, but after a few weeks, that vision dissipates and suddenly they no longer are pursuing that lofty goal. No longer are they doing so because it's too hard, because they hit a wall and realized, oh, I'm going to actually have to expend a lot more energy than I originally expected. See, what differentiates the good from the great are those who keep at it. 50% will not get you anywhere. 50% will get you 50% of the results you're looking for. If you want that 100%, then you gotta go 100. You gotta stick with it. Good things do not come easy. Put simply, you need to be hungry. A stellar example of consistency in action is comedian and sketch comedy writer John Mulaney. Before he was world famous, he worked as a temp for Comedy Central, and then after that, he started doing some stand-up and headlining some clubs in the New York City circuit. One day he gets a call from a friend telling him that he should audition for Saturday Night Live. He at that time had no illusion that he could actually become a member of this classic American TV sketch show, but he decided to give it a shot anyway. Unfortunately for John, he would have to audition 44 times before he was given a spot on the show, and not as one of the actors, but as a writer. That means that 43 times, John Mulaney walked into the audition room, gave his best performance, and was rejected. 43 times before he finally got what he was looking for. That, if that isn't consistency, I don't know what is. An example of consistency from my own life. When I got to Syracuse University, I made a promise to myself as a freshman that by the time I graduated, I would be highly proficient or fluent in a foreign language. I was always so impressed by my peers who knew a second or third language, and I wanted to be like them. The language I chose was Brazilian Portuguese. To learn the language, I took all 4 Portuguese courses at Syracuse University, read through the textbook, did my homework, asked questions, went to extra help, and engaged native Brazilian speakers in conversation whenever I could. Eventually, I even studied abroad for 4 months in São Paulo, Brazil, to immerse myself in the culture and the language of Brazil. After 4 years of hard work, dedication, and consistency in language learning, I was able to achieve my goal. But it was hard. I am by no means talented at or predisposed to learning languages. There were countless times when I stumbled and made mistakes, times when I felt like I couldn't learn the language, like it was too hard, like I would never truly understand or be comfortable speaking in a foreign language. But every time I stumbled, every time I made those mistakes, I was sharpening my blade, I was improving my mental acuity, and reminding myself, you might not be able to speak Portuguese today, but just keep at it. Don't let this go. Don't be like all the others who set out to learn a language and then quit halfway through. Be someone different. Be someone better. Be consistent. Though it would be disingenuous for me to say that I am fluent, I can confidently say that I'm highly proficient and can strike up conversation with ease. But I am by no means finished. Even after college, I've continued to practice and refine my skills, and will continue to do so throughout my life. Still, I would have never learned Portuguese if I didn't have a plan, if I didn't think holistically about the challenge I was about to undertake. As the saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail, which leads me to the final C of success: critical thinking. You can't simply throw out a dream or goal and hope to achieve it. No matter how much confidence and consistency you have, no matter how motivated you are, if you do not ground your ambition in a plan, you probably won't achieve your goal. Now, I know this is nothing new, I'm sure you've heard this before and I'm preaching to the choir, but it's very important that I reiterate this information. A plan transforms the rough image of your goal into something concrete, something tangible that you can use to make that image a reality. Now, all this does not mean limit your aspirations to only that which is quote-unquote realistic. That word, realistic, is one that effectively limits potential every single day. What I'm saying is, to make your idealistic goals a reality, you need to ground them in a step-by-step plan that will eventually bring about the reality you seek. It's about pairing hard work with effective strategy so you can outshine competition. A great example of this can be seen in the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like most strongmen of the day, Arnold Schwarzenegger looked up to the revered Western movie actor John Wayne. Arnold wanted to be just like John Wayne. He wanted to be on the big screen. It was nice and all that he won Mr. Olympia 7 times and the Strongest Man of Europe competition 1 time. I mean, he was already incredibly accomplished. But he wanted more for himself. He wanted what John Wayne had. Only one problem. He was from Austria and had a thick Austrian accent, and his English wasn't that good. So what did he do when he came to America? Arnold Schwarzenegger took acting classes and accent training courses so that he could refine his English skills and be intelligible to an American audience. Now, as we all know, Arnold never lost his Austrian accent, but he did improve his English to such an extent that he was able to secure leading actor roles in major American films that made him a household name all around the world, and elevated him to the same status or even higher than John Wayne. On his way up, Arnold Schwarzenegger was told time and time again, "You cannot do this. This is not feasible. You are an Austrian. Your accent is too thick. You'll never be able to be a movie star in America." But fortunately, Arnold Schwarzenegger did not heed the words of these pessimists, these small thinkers. Instead, he thought critically about what it would take to get to where he wanted to be. And once he found out how to get there, he took the laborious steps necessary to reach the level of success he desired. Now, even though Arnold, Barbara Corcoran, and John Mulaney are all famous, the 3 C's to success are not just for those who are especially gifted. They're for you. They're for average, ordinary, everyday people. Let's not forget that unless they were born into a royal family, those who are famous and successful today all started out as no-names. They all had to build themselves up. They all had to believe in themselves and block out the small thinkers and critics. Confidence. Size up their challenges and make a plan to overcome them, critical thinking, and put in the work day in and day out, month after month, year after year, until they achieved success. Consistency. Hopefully by now you can see why I was so inspired by this idea and why I needed to share it with you. I get so disappointed when I hear people say, "Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't be that person. Oh, I can't improve my life." Bullshit. Of course you can. The only thing that differentiates you from those who are successful are the 3 C's to success. Implement those in your life and you will be where they are. But it won't be easy, and not everyone starts out on an even playing field. Some will have to work a lot harder than others and suffer through a lot more challenges and setbacks. But the more bumps and bruises on the way up, the more glorious the story when you finally reach the top. That does it for this episode on the 3 C's of success. Today, we talked about the power of confidence, consistency, and critical thinking, as well as the stories of 4 people, myself included, who offer an example of the 3 C's in action. I hope this idea emboldens you on your quest for success, however you define it. Lastly, be sure to leave a comment on my website telling me what you think, and follow the new Unlimit Yourself Instagram page @UnlimitYourselfPod. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.